Today is Wednesday, June 10th, 2015. Welcome to another edition of Hash It Out. And as you can tell by the semi-baritone voice, I am not your girl Miranda Wright, but I did get word from her that she is, quote unquote, hauling ass coming down here, as well as she had to pick up a few other things. Anyway, glad you were with us. She should be walking in shortly, and she's one of the few that I actually give free reign to walking into the studio in the middle of the segment. I have no issue with that whatsoever when it comes to her. Now, some of the others, kind of is what it is. Either way, my name is Len Williams. I'm the for those of you that haven't heard of me or don't know of me, I am the program director of this motley crew known as K-High. And glad you're here. Glad you're tuning in. In fact, I'm looking at her van. She is pulling up right now. Nevertheless, I will keep you here until she gets in and all set. Anyway, as always, you can check us out at letstalkpot.com or find us on the YouTube feed. Simple. Just go to youtube.com. Subscribe to K-High. That's K space high. Don't forget the space. Please don't. From there, you'll be able to check out all of the video shows, including the live feed that is on right now. I know you're looking at black bald-headed guy, and you're going, wait a minute, that's not nice to look at. I know. Let's all admit, Miranda's a pretty nice-looking person. We're a nice-looking person. She has a wealth of knowledge as well. But again, I'm here until she gets here and gets set. Anyway, phone lines are open. Give me a call at 591-5874 or 591-KUSH 719 area code for those out of state. Excuse me. Got a lot of stuff courtesy of the Facebook page. You can always go to facebook.com/KI. And as always, you got people just walking in unexpected. What up, Dust?
What up? What do you do?
Man, your show's not on until 5. What in the blue hell are you doing? Well, wait a minute. I know why you're here. We got to talk.
You know what's up. You know what's going down. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How about you?
Good. We pimps always good.
Always, man.
Loving life.
Always. And again, just saw your boy DJ Chris Diablo along with Miranda Wright pulling up.
Right. So I see you up here hashing it out, huh?
Every now and then I feel it. I try not to because I leave you guys in it.
All right. I'd say you're a good man for the hash it out spot. Yeah.
Why? Because I like to start arguments? No.
I don't know. I think you finish them.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Look, I take on the Bill Romanowski role. I don't fight. I end threats.
There you go.
I don't have to fight.
There you go.
I don't have to. Come the argument about weed or an argument about the marijuana movement. I don't have to fight. Yeah, that's what you guys are here for. Y'all can argue all day, all night.
All right. Yeah. The voice is my voice is a little deep, so maybe people think I'm a lot bigger than I really am. So I'm good. I'm good for the confrontations over the air, but when they see me, they're like, "Oh, I got this dude."
Right.
That's where you step in.
It is what it is. Now, just checking out this one. And High Times Magazine is asking the question: Florida, are you ready to legalize medical marijuana in 2016? Starts off saying, while the state of Florida continues to pussyfoot around the implementation of a CBD-only law, the stage is being set to legalize a full-scale medical marijuana program in 2016. United for Care, whose proposal to legalize the leaf for medicinal purposes failed by a narrow margin in last year's November election, is now preparing to launch a second coming of the initiative in hopes to bring medicinal herb to the Sunshine State once and for all. And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Miranda was talking to somebody yesterday from Miami who was talking about some of the things that he had to go through in regards to, keeping a joint on him or being able to partake or whatever the case may be. A crap load of serious financial implementations there, financial implications, if you will.
They don't play down there.
No, from what I hear.
They don't play down there. But boy, once they do go legal, Miami does it big in every aspect. It is gorgeous. The buildings, the architecture, the landscape, everything is just beautiful down there.
Right.
Can you imagine what they're going to do with these medical marijuana dispensaries? I think some of the coolest, biggest, maybe most tourist attractive spots maybe in America regarding the medical marijuana.
Yeah, yeah. At least all the buildings will look nice. I think there may be something bigger with that when it comes to that. Granted, if it does go to effect in 2016, and if the voters win by at least the slightest of margins, if they do win that, you're going to have a lot of fodder in Florida, because you're literally going from absolute no to absolute yes and a definitely maybe on recreational. At least for the CBD only spot, you'll be able to get that part done. But I think there may be a small caveat to that. On top of Miami, Tampa, Orlando, Tallahassee, and all the rest of those guys joining in, keep in mind there's a country about 90 miles away whom we've just been given free reign to go to and come from as we please. Y'all may know it. It's not Key West. Shut up. It's Cuba.
Cuba, man.
I'm wondering how that's going to affect Cubans in not only coming over here but possibly starting up businesses here. I mean, from what I'm hearing, even though the embargo has been lifted somewhat off of Cuba, it's still kind of in its stage of, okay, we need to grow, we need to get this, we need to get this, we need to get this. So I guess that's the one thing I'm looking for. If in fact it does go legal in 2016, how is that going to affect how's that going to affect the Cuban population down there and the possibility of bringing more people in? Miranda, don't look at me like that. You always look at me like you're pissed off. What did I do? Jeez. You good? Hey, like as promised, people, Miranda White's hauling ass got down there. First and foremost, as the so-called boss man, I appreciate letting me know ahead of time. That's good. That's always a cool thing.
No problem. Sorry, I don't mean to be late. I had to pick him up, and then I left my laptop over at my friend's house. So I'm so out of whack right now.
You're not doing well. That's okay. But that's okay, because see, you own that, and you say, you know what, I'm just going to make up for it as we go along. It kind of is what it is.
Very good at thinking on my feet.
That's
I work
always
pretty good under pressure.
Always.
If there's anybody that can get anything down to the last minute, it's me. I'll tell you that. I mean, I planned my entire wedding in 1 month flat.
That's actually not bad.
From start to finish, let me tell you, I was a hot mess that entire month, and I did have a couple emotional breakdowns, but yeah, from start to finish, 1 month flat.
1 month flat.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right.
I think I picked down the song that I walked down to the aisle to the day of that morning. Actually, I
see. You know what? I'm glad you did it that way, because from my understanding is that you don't feel it until that day. I mean, granted, I've gone through it twice, and the song was already kind of picked out. I'm going, are you sure? Both times I'm going, are you sure? Well, are you sure? Are you positive? Are you sure? So it's kind of cool. You waited till that day. You said, you know what? I want that song.
It was more of a last minute spark of the moment. Just maybe that song will work type of a thing. I really wish.
So it was maybe with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I had time to plan, I mean, of course I would have,
of course,
taken the time to think everything through. But I mean, I didn't really have the time, the place we wanted. But my husband and I decided we were going to go ahead and do it. Just had to get it done, and it worked out perfectly. Actually, there wasn't anything that went wrong.
So nothing emotional. You just went, that one.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep, pretty much. It was just, I don't know, had one of those aha moments, a spark of genius, and the song just kind of came to me. I don't know how it all worked. I mean, I did have my freak out moment when the lady came to get us and say, hey, it's time, time to go down there or whatever.
I
had one of my girlfriends, one of my bridesmaids, she, I don't know whose genius idea it was, okay, but they decided, let's put fake eyelashes on Miranda. And I've never worn fake eyelashes before. I never did it, and I already had my makeup done. Well, they put them on and decided to trim them down, and one of my girlfriends actually clipped off half of my eyelash. So right when that happened, I freaked out, started crying, the whole works, locked myself in the bathroom. I actually locked myself in the bathroom so I could smoke a bowl, and there was no cigarette smoking even allowed on the property. So that was kind of interesting, but I had to have my moment. I told everybody, you guys, I don't care how late you think I am, you guys are going to give me a second, please.
But
it all worked out pretty good.
Yeah,
After breathing into a paper bag for a second, it got my cool together.
It happened. Stuff like that happened. So when you walked in, we were talking about the possibility of Florida actually winning the battle to legalize medicinal marijuana in 2016. It's an article courtesy of High Times Magazine. Apparently, the last election they lost by pro-activists lost by a slight margin. So they're getting ready for 2016 to put it back on the ballot and see what happens this time. And Dust said basically, if it does go, you're going to have a big old party down in Florida. A lot of things down there. I'm looking at it from a slightly different angle, and I'm thinking of most of the immigration population that comes over to Florida are from Cuba, and I'm wondering how much of a factor that's going to play if in fact it goes legal. And any thoughts on the possibility?
I think actually it'll play a big part of it. I mean, not necessarily just focusing on the whole Cuban community and culture, but I just know that just in general, I know that a lot of the marijuana supply for the United States was coming from Mexico through the cartels and things like that. And so I know that with the more and more legalization that's coming to the States, it's taking away from those profit margins. And so what I've been reading is that there are more and more worries about the cartels trying to infiltrate the United States and trying to, get their business back, if you will.
Right.
So I know that I read an article not too long ago about, I think it was Pueblo, that had a couple of issues where they were actually getting, what is it called? Is it embezzlement? Or when, like, the mafia used to do where they went to businesses and, like, they had to pay.
Racket.
There you go.
Racketeering.
So they were getting approached by people from the cartels saying that, hey, if you're going to be doing this, you're going to be paying us for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's been another big, I think, huge concern. And I think it's kind of something that a lot of people are overthinking or not even thinking about enough, because you have to think we're going to be taking away money from them. And when it comes down to that type of an industry or that type of criminal group or whatever you want to call it, I mean, they don't play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those the type of people, they'll cut off fingers and body parts and send it to you. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a iffy thing to think about. And I know that I'm not sure exactly how the American states are going to handle all of that, but I'm surprised that there aren't enough, or at least more topics being discussed about the dangers of doing something like that. Because it's just like if you have the gang territories in any other state, I mean, it gets broken down to kind of the rule of thumb about you don't cross these lines, you don't sell to these type of people, because that's our side.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when it comes to cartels, I mean, that's just an industry that you don't talk twice really.
I mean, and I'm wondering if that's a major factor in a lot of pro activists as far as marijuana legalization. Not only because of the medicinal benefits, not only because of the health benefits, but because there is the possibility of, if it's done correctly, eliminating the black market altogether. I believe it was Uruguay that not only legalized marijuana, but they literally made it to a point where a gram was $1. You can buy it for $1 a gram, and it literally eliminated the entire black market for them, which equals less crime and a bunch of other things that came out on the positive. Now, I could have the country wrong, but I know there's somebody out there that had done that. Do you think the U.S. is close to that? I mean, as of right now, 24 states medicinally, 3 or 4 recreationally, something like that. Still a very small number, and we're still catching up. But are we on track for that?
I think it's kind of hard to say. I mean, I think that we are definitely making a big dent in the industry as far as all of that goes. But I think that even with the states that have it legal, like here in Colorado, for instance, just because we have legal medical and recreational, we still have a black market, for marijuana.
Right.
We still have those street drug dealers, and we still have those street pushers that are trying to, make the money outside of that. So I think you're always going to have that type of market. With prescription pills, you have that market, and it is legal. So it really kind of just comes down to the person themselves, I think, every individual, and about whether or not they feel that they're going to be contributing to something or taking away from it. Okay. Because if you're in a medicinal or recreational legal state and you're selling, off the street, you're kind of taking away from everything that is allowing you to even do what you're doing in the first place.
Good point.
You know what I mean?
So what you're saying is no matter what, you're going to have a black market.
Yeah, there's a black market for everything. There's a black market for organs. There's a black market for, video games that aren't on the market yet. There's a black market for everything.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it really kind of just comes down to getting the word out and kind of changing people's minds as far as if they're going to do it illegally. You know what I mean? Because they're just as much of a voice in this industry as anybody else. And so if they're going to be pushing weed off the street, what are they pushing the weed for? Are they doing it for the greed and for, to make their pockets fatter? Are they doing it because they believe in the movement and for cannabis itself?
Sure.
Or is it like the gentleman I came across who pushes weed purely for the money factor, but still didn't even think there was any medical benefit to it at all? So there's still kind of that whole stipulation. Yeah. So there's still that generation gap, and that generation gap for each age group kind of represents each part in the cannabis, industry as itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'll be brutally honest. I wasn't expecting that answer, but that was good. 719-591-5874, 719-591-KUSH. You can jump in on this conversation as well. You still got, but you still have a lot of your naysayers out there I mean, even in Pennsylvania, in fact, Montel Williams is actually stumping in Pennsylvania for legal for medicinal marijuana. This is a state, this is a Commonwealth of which 88% of the people have said, if it comes to a vote, I'm voting yes. But yet you have one state congressman who is holding up the vote. He's not necessarily saying, put it this way, he's doing the absolute worst. He's being indifferent about it. It's not that he loves it. It's not that he hates it. He's just going, I don't know.
He just doesn't want his name tied to it.
Well, yeah, if you want to put it that way, yes.
See, and that's the thing that I think is one of the biggest problems with anybody in this industry, really. I have come across more people that are marijuana smokers, cannabis users, medicinal and recreational both, that follow the movement, support it, will say, hey, yeah, good job, man, you're doing great. But when it comes down to asking their personal opinion on record about whether or not they will say they stand up for it, they kind of jump back in the shadow like, oh, well, hold on, wait a minute, I don't know about that.
I hate people like that.
The one thing that bothers me the most is you're being the definition of a hypocrite. You know what I mean? And people are so on point about trying to be adult, be responsible, you know what I mean? Have your priorities straight and do all these things, but yet the one thing that they're not doing is standing true to their own word. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it, because you can't sit there and say that you're going to partake in something, whether somebody knows about it or not, and then tell somebody else that they're wrong for it because they're in the eye of somebody else watching.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I can't stand that. That's actually kind of a sensitive, fuse button for me, just because I get angry at people like that.
I'm sort of a sports guy. I kind of cut my teeth in sports radio, and one of the things we always talk about were when specific quotes came out from people, and it was always, an anonymous team player and things of that nature. And I remember when Bart Scott played for the New York Jets, and he got mad because of a rumor going out. He said, "Look, put your name on it. If you're not ashamed to say it, if you're not afraid to say it, put your name on it. Let everybody else know." That's the stuff that starts infighting and starts the whole destruction there. And I kind of see that with this congressman out of Pennsylvania who's just going, "Well, I don't know." And it's look, if you're not a doctor, don't talk to me about research. If you're not a lawyer, don't talk to me about the laws. Just tell me which side of this you want to be on, because in my honest opinion, that's in Pennsylvania, my home state. Eventually, it's going to win over. It may take a couple of years, but it's going to win over whether this guy wants to be here or not.
And it's all about education, because if you ask that senator, why does he not like marijuana? Let's see what kind of factual basis that he has, because I'm sure the reasons why he doesn't like marijuana is because it's been illegal for all these years. It's supposedly the United States lead marijuana scientist testified under oath that he smoked marijuana and turned into a bat. And he was, this is real life. This is not yellow. He testified under oath that he turned into a bat after smoking weed, and he was our marijuana specialist for the United States for over 20 years. So that's where these senators and people are getting their facts from.
I'm just wondering
who is his boss? Who is his boss, and why did he get away with? That's obvious that it was Nixon.
Well, here the only question I have with that is that was he smoking weed at an Ozzy concert? Because I can see the bat thing coming in with it. I turned into a bat. Yeah, that was a kick-ass Ozzy concert. Hey, I've been to one. Awesome, good stuff.
Or it wasn't just weed that he was smoking.
But when you're testifying, you know what I mean? Like there's no. This is setting precedents for the United States. This is showing the people that are against marijuana, like, yeah, if you smoke weed, you're going to turn into a bat. If you smoke weed, the Nancy Grace thing, you're going to go kill your family, your mother, your brother, your father. It's asinine.
Yes.
And those are our experts that are testifying in Congress.
Well, see, the only way to defeat that is to get guys like Sanjay Gupta and other ones that have gone forward to be able to come through and rebuke these guys and be able to battle these guys. Granted, we're on the ground floor, but every now and then, there's a hoop game. Every now and then, you need to ring it.
And it always takes the proof. It always takes the proof. The one thing that changed Sanjay Gupta's mind was when he sat there and saw a medical child in front of him, you know what I mean, and the benefits that it put. And so if we got to put it in front of their face all day long, we'll do that. There's no problem with it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Joining that conversation, 719-591-5874 or 591-KUSH. Like the show says, let's hash it out. What's on your mind? We'll be back. That's my 20 minutes. I'll be here all week. Try to do. I'm out.
You're leaving?
No, I'm just 1 hour.
Did you get the message I sent you?
What?
This one I sent you?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to you
We'll
about it.
talk. We'll talk.
Okay.
Chris, jump in. All right. You got headphones in there, right? Yeah, they're over there.
Doesn't come back in here?
Huh?
Doesn't come back in
No,
here?
I got to talk to that.
Okay. Do you need this?
I don't know how to work this board. Do you?
Yeah.
I heard. Show you. Okay. Your mic's muted.
If the weed talk on K-High is giving you a contact buzz, then just turn it down a little. K-High, the weed talk station. Mike Flap.
Hey, and we're back. This is Miss Miranda Wrights. You're listening to Let's Hash It Out, letstalkpod.com. So don't forget, you can find us on the YouTube feed. Just go to youtube.com and that's subscribe to K-High. It's K-High. There you'll be able to view all of our video shows, including the live feed that is on right now. And you can also give us a call. The phone line is 719-591-KUSH. That's 719-591-5874. So today we're going to be talking about a couple different things. I have a special guest in here with me. We have DJ Chris Diablo.
What's up?
He is a member of the Weed Pimps, but he is also Colorado's official cannabis DJ. And so I wanted to get a little bit off topic of the Weed Pimps and talk to you a little bit about your music and what it is that exactly makes you Colorado's official cannabis DJ.
Well, what makes me Colorado's official cannabis DJ, I've been doing the cannabis events, the big cannabis events since the start of legalization. Actually, before that, we were doing activist stuff leading up to it. I've just been at Ground Zero from square one, and I have done more cannabis events than any other DJ in the state, just because of the position I hold. So,
is it cannabis events as in far as ones that are promoted as cannabis events, or is it all of the ones that are just smoker friendly?
No, actually both. I've started off in the bar industry. Years I've been DJing now for 23 years, DJed in Vegas for 5.5 years on the Strip at Raw and the Luxor and Utopia next to MGM. And then when I came out here doing the cannabis events, number one, they're so different than any of the bar stuff I've ever done. They're just a lot more chill and all that type of stuff. But the events I've done is like, I've done 2 cannabis cups. I've done the Secret Cup. I've done the 710 Cup. Then just all the ins and outs. I'm part of Bongathon. I'm one of their resident DJs, me and Jay Rush. Vertigo, both of us handle all the music at Bongathon as far as the DJ and stuff goes. It'll be my 3rd year this year. And then also, I part of the meet and greets, which back before Amendment 64 took place, where you couldn't congregate and medicate. We had the largest and longest running medical marijuana event going on in Denver, ran by AJ Hashman.
And what was that? What is those meet and greets?
The meet and greets, it was where patients you needed a red card to get in. Patient come in and you could try different types of bud. You know, we had vendors and all that type of stuff too. Clone guys. I mean, the whole works. Anything that would help the patients. So
And what is
AJ,
it,
it was
what is
great.
it that about Amendment 64 that shut all that down? Why did it stop?
When Amendment 64 came into place, there's a stipulation in there that says that you can't congregate and medicate.
Why?
I don't know. It was one of the things that they put in there. And so once that took place, the Denver police no longer supported any of AJ's events, and we stopped doing the meet and greets after that point.
That's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
It seems like from what I've heard and from what I've experienced, the Denver policing community and with the whole cannabis industry is completely different than it is here in the Springs.
Oh, 110% different.
I'm so curious as to why that is. You know,
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's a money game. Because see, the problem is in Denver is they're not getting it down to, getting the case resolved. They're busting these people. They're, raiding these clubs and stuff like that. And then they take all their products and all this type of stuff, and then they end up dropping it. So no law is ever put into place. No type of, what's the word I'm looking for?
regulation.
Yeah, no regulation is really put into place because nothing's ever solved. So.
Well, my concern is, and I guess this probably would have been a good question for Jamin when he was in here, is how much police interaction he's had to deal with as far as being the owner of the speakeasy.
Yeah, none.
Because
really.
I mean, in comparison, if you look at Chris Jetter with Zapota's Club, I mean, they were in and out of the news all the time on the daily about being a public nuisance and causing so much havoc. When we have multiple smoke clubs here in the Springs, and we don't get nearly targeted like the police do in Denver. Yeah,
well, when we had Mayor Makepeace, the former mayor, who was just running for mayor on our show on the week of High Drive at 5, she was telling us that, they're not an issue. They haven't been an issue. Not that they've been an issue in Denver. I mean, the huge difference between cannabis clubs and alcohol clubs, number one, and most important, is there's no violence. There's no violence going on at these cannabis clubs. So, that's a huge difference. And they haven't had any violence going on in the Denver clubs either. So I don't really know what the difference is between Colorado Springs and Denver, why they're so hard up and after those guys in Denver compared to, we don't have those issues down here, thank God.
I actually just got a message from Chris Jetter right now. He's going to give us a call in about 10 minutes because he wants to be able to kind of touch in on this subject and see, what he has to say. Also, here at about just a few minutes, actually, we're supposed to be getting a call from Lucky Luck. He is the editor of the Daily Doob up there in Denver, Colorado. He's going to be giving us a call in too. So he's unfortunately was a little bit late yesterday. We kind of gave him a hard time because he showed up to the Weed Pimps High Drive at 5 show and he missed my show completely. So gotta love that. They say I'm always late because I'm a girl, but geez. But no, he's going to give us a call today. He's a great guy. I'm just giving him a hard time busting his chops, but he's going to let us know a little bit about what the Daily Doob does up there in Denver and about some of the marijuana publications up there. I know that we had Andrew Daly on. He was speaking to us about the Weed Revere magazine and about what they do there. And I think that it's so great because I know that for the longest time we had nothing but High Times magazine out, at least from as far as I can remember, to really give us any type of insight about the marijuana industry and about what it has to offer. And even then it was still pretty limited as far as strains go and as far as any type of educational stuff behind it. And so to have some publications like this and where people can count on this type of information for many different outlets, whether it be coming strain information or, local dispensary information, things like that, that we finally have this stuff out there, because I know that there's people from all over that want to hear about it. I know just from Facebook and from Google, you can look up anything about weed related, but when it comes to certain things, you don't really ever get the inside spiel about what it's really all about unless you're talking to somebody who has been through it. Same thing goes for addiction, any type of drug or something like that. You kind of get a different point of view or perspective from somebody who has been through it, which I think is a good reason on why drug counselors and things like that are always the best, because most of the chances are they're rehabilitated addicts themselves, and so it kind of takes a special person to be able to talk about something on such a sensitive subject. And so I don't know, I think it's kind of dumb that all of these politicians and things and stuff, they want to talk about it being illegal, but yet they don't even know what they're talking about as far as something being illegal, because they've never experienced it themselves. So that's just kind of one thing that I'm hoping that we'll get to talk about with Chris when he calls. It's about 1:30 now, so Lucky, let's see where he's at. He should be calling us instead of a message, but Chris.
I just heard some good news.
What?
We're going to be starting our own Weed Pimp show over on Tailgate from 6 until midnight every Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So excited about that. Just found that out in the hallway.
That's really cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tailgate, that's what, 98.5?
Yep. And then we'll still be doing our High Drive at 5 show. So
that's really cool. Congratulations,
well,
guys.
thank you.
That's awesome. See? And people were worried that the Weed Pimps weren't going to make airwaves, right?
Oh, yeah. We're there. We're here to stay.
That's awesome. Congratulations, guys.
Thank
That's really cool.
Thank you.
Well, where are the rest of the guys at? Are they going to come in here?
Actually, they had some running around they had to do. We're getting ready to open up our dispensary here within the month.
Did he grab a torch from J-Dub? We need a torch here.
J-Dub is not here yet.
Well, what the heck?
I know.
Need to get our smoke on.
I totally agree with you.
Can't be on a weed radio station and not even have any weed.
I don't know any dabs or anything. What the heck is going on?
I know, I don't get it either. So, let's see here. I was pulling up, okay, next thing on here, debate.org. I remember, I think you were with me when I found this website. It is pretty hilarious, some of the stuff that people are talking about.
It is absolutely hilarious.
So
and keep in mind that this site is based on the art of debating. So not all facts and stuff are true. They're more saying a lot of this stuff to get a rise out of you trying to debate. You know what I'm saying? But some of this stuff is just ridiculous. And it's kind of funny, actually.
So on here it says, so far the vote, I think when I looked at it last, it was like 62% said yes, and there was like 40% said no. But now it's actually changed a little bit. There's 79% say yes, and 21% say no, that marijuana should not be legalized. So I want to go through here some of these, and I want to see what some of these people have to say, because these are great. So let's see. This guy here said, let's see if I can find his name. KLFXX is his name. I'm not sure exactly what that might stand for, but let's see what he says. He has, well, it actually, when you click on their name, it gives you a whole like profile about these people, so you can kind of know who they are and what kind of credibility I guess they have. I'm not really sure. I'm not paying attention to that because he's not for pot. But let's see. He says, "You are all brainwashed. First of all, I have done weed before and never plan on doing it again. I used to smoke multiple times a day, every day, and I used to think it was great. But my opinion changed after it almost ruined my life. I always hear that marijuana does not affect your health in any way negatively. I'm sorry. Well, you're wrong. It's just common sense that inhaling something into your lungs is unhealthy. It also affects the brain. Not only will it affect you physically in the future, but it will affect you emotionally too. Most people smoke weed because they are stressed or depressed. Well, you might feel great while you're high, but as soon as it wears off, your sober life is going to seem horrible all over again. Okay? If you get caught with it, your loved ones will be very disappointed in you. You'll most likely lose all of your friends because the only thing you'll care about is getting high. And it may affect your financial stability as well. Once marijuana becomes your new obsession, you'll spend all of your money on it unless you're selling it on the side, which in that case, you're a legal drug dealer. Okay, wow. He said he had a really bad trip once on weed, and he saw that what his life would be like if he continued using it, and it wasn't pretty. Wow.
Ridiculous.
So first of all, let me just say, okay, you're wrong. Well, okay, we always welcome the people here that have an opinion. So I'm not going to just call him out and saying wrong. I'm just going to I want to break it down into why I think he might be ill-informed or was not just smoking marijuana at this time of this experience.
Very well put.
So he says he had a really bad trip once. Have you ever tripped on weed?
Maybe tripped over weed, you know.
or tripped over something or stone and not
Yeah.
paying attention.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe there was a block of weed on the ground and I tripped over it, but never tripped physically on weed whatsoever.
I've never hallucinated again. Well, I mean, off of weed at all. I remember the very first time I ever smoked pot. Actually, I was at a party in high school, and the guy I was dating at the time, he was acting like he was tripping. I remember we had smoked it. It was out of a soda can in the backyard. It was so gross.
Old
And-
school.
Right? And when we came back inside, the girl had black lights and stuff going in her basement because, you know, we were partying. And he said that he was like seeing shapes and like weird shit, and he was basically defining if he was tripping mushrooms. We weren't smoking anything. It was swag back in the day. Swag. How
Yeah.
do you know? Okay, so that's wrong.
Obviously, he was faking it.
Now, he is a little bit onto something about inhaling something into your lungs can be unhealthy.
All right, we all know that. We all know that. As far as medical marijuana goes, the best way to handle medical marijuana is to do edibles or oils.
Well, that's how, I mean, even pediatric patients, we don't have, I mean, Landon isn't in here smoking a blunt.
No, not at all. He doesn't smoke at all.
So,
You
it's-
know, so that's neither here nor there. No one.
yeah, no, that's kind of retarded.
Yeah.
And then about how it will become your, let's see, what did it say? It becomes what you will revolve your entire life around. So it's going to affect your financial stability. So you become like a crackhead for pot.
Well, you know what? I guess to each their own. I'm sure there is some dude out there that has a highly, highly, highly addictive personality that he would let even weed take over him as much as he would let coffee take over him. You know, I mean, I guess any type of vice in his life would take over him just because of his addictive personality.
It kind of reminds me of, you remember that scene in, what is it, How High or Half Baked? What is it, Half Baked? With Dave Chappelle?
Yeah.
When he's in rehab.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's talking to, what is it, Danny Tanner? I can't remember what his name is, Bob Saget.
Yeah.
And he says, talking about making the comparison about being addiction to Coke
Yeah.
and the
You
addiction
ever
to
sucked
pot.
dick for weed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that right there is kind of the perfect example.
It really is. It really is. It's kind of irony at its finest because they pretty much tell you, right? I mean, the whole gateway drug stuff and all that stuff. I mean, we talked about that before. You know, there is no such thing as a gateway drug. It becomes down to the person and their addictive personality.
Mhm.
You know, and what they're using it as a crutch for, if that's what they're using it for, or if they're using it for medical, then they're obviously not using it. I mean, well, maybe as a crutch to help them out, but not as a, you know, I guess as a cop out or anything else. I mean, so.
Well, the one thing I remember watching that High Country documentary is that, Culture High, is
Yeah.
that he was saying that he asked a group of addicts, he said, what is it that, whatever drug of choice it was that you were addicted to, whether it be methamphetamines or heroin, coke, whatever, what was the good thing about it? What was it that it did for you? And not necessarily how did it make you feel, but what was it that it did good for you? And a lot of people were saying things like it brought out their self-confidence. It made them feel like they could go into a room full of people and talk. It brought out, it made them
That same
feel
goes for
insecure.
alcoholics, I guess.
Exactly, and it's the same thing. So if you look at that, what it's targeting, that angst of dealing with life, that right there isn't the issue. It's not the drug of choice that they chose to fix it. It's the problem within themselves that brought it on.
Yes,
And
their
so-
lack of confidence.
Exactly. And so those are the things that they need to start targeting. And just like with addiction, where does that where does that addictive personality come from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Chances are it's from a childhood trauma, something significant in their life. And
Yeah.
those are the subjects that need to be touched on, not the fact that whatever substance it is that they're using is what's helping them through it or cope with it at least.
Yeah, I
You know what I
agree.
mean?
I totally agree.
I think that we definitely need to get some more doctors speaking their opinion about everything, because that's really what it comes down to. People won't argue with facts. You can't.
No.
You know what I mean? Because then you can't be
Well,
confident.
science is coming out every day and showing that, what this is doing for you. The 111 different CBDs and cannabinoids.
Cannabinoids.
There we go.
Cannabinoids.
Cannabinoids. There we go again already. Yeah, but there's just new science coming out on a daily basis, and it's just proving the facts, and these people just need to see them.
Mhm. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break right now. As soon as we get back from the break, we're going to see if we can get a hold of Chris Jetter to talk about on some of those marijuana laws and some of the bongathon stuff. And then we're also going to get Lucky Sylvester to call in from the Daily Dupe. So hopefully he'll give us a call here soon. You're listening to Miss Miranda Wrights on K-High Radio. Let's hash it out. We'll be back right after this. Hello? What's up? It's okay. Is this Lucky? Okay, we just went to a commercial break. So I'm gonna keep you on
What
the
up,
line.
Luck?
Take it
What up, Luck? Nada, nada. Guess what?
Are you sleeping?
You just waking up? Guess what? Fucking Weed Pimps just got thrown a show on FM radio from Sundays. Yeah, Sundays 6 to midnight every Sunday. Yeah, on
Tailgate
Tailgate.
98.5.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Pretty tight. Are you coming back down here, Dave? Come on down. I'm off tonight. We hang out. For sure. Yep. Yep, to the studio.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about today?
I'll come out and get you for
What do you feel like talking about today? I just want if you can touch about like the Daily Doob and about what it is and what kind of prints articles and stuff go into it and how it came about and all that good junk. Okay, cool. Thank you. And thanks for calling too. Thank you for calling. I appreciate it. Even though you kind of didn't get to talk to me yesterday while you were here. Well, I know. You want to know something crazy that happened to me? That dude yesterday that was on my show, he flipped the fuck out on me. Yeah, he like tried to make a move on me when I was taking him home. Yeah, it was a big deal. Like when I hit you up to see if you were at Speak, that was because I had to park and just run it into the bikini bar so I could try to get away from the dude because he wouldn't get out of my car. Yeah, it was intense. So it kind of sucks. No, that is not my man. Okay, we're back in about 60 seconds, okay?
See?
I don't know, dude. I don't know what that's about.
Word?
30.
Yep, of course.
15.
Hey, what's up? This is Big Lynn. I want to thank you so much for checking out K-High Radio. That being said, a reminder to always be responsible when you partake in weed. I mean, for goodness sakes, if you see your kids doing it, at least slug it with them. Don't waste a good ball, right?
Next live.
Hey, and we're back. This is your girl, Miss Miranda Rice. You're listening to Let's Hash It Out. Let'sTalkPot.com, K-High Radio. Don't forget, you can find us at YouTube.com and subscribe to K-High. That's K-High. There you'll be able to check out all of our video shows, including our live feed that's on right now. And you can always give us a call, 591-5874. And right now, well, on the phone, we have Lucky Sylvester calling in from the Daily Doob. How's it going, Luck?
Hey, what's up?
How's it going? You sound like you must be chiefing on something good over there.
Yeah. I got that con right now. I'm getting there.
Lucky you. So I know that we just missed each other yesterday for my show, and unfortunately for that, you were able to make it to the Weed Pimps High Drive at 5 show. But I still wanted to get you on the line because I wanted to know a little bit more about the Daily Doob, and if you could tell me a little bit about what that's all about up there in Denver.
Well, the Daily Doob is it's an online publication. I'm a website developer and marketer first and foremost. I created the website, thedailydoob.com. So they can emphasis and highlight some of the hip-hop or the artists out here that are trying to make it into the industry. Highlight their little shows and whatnot. But it also covers your regular news. So you get your old folks who don't smoke. It covers your cannabis news, whether it's recreational, medical, nationwide. You can keep track of what's going on in the different states, their medical and their recreational all kinds of stuff. So that's for everybody. But
Oh,
you
okay.
know, the focus there is on cannabis and the events that are coming into the state.
Okay, cool. So it's got a little bit of like an entertainment factor in there too.
Exactly, yeah.
That's cool. It's always good when you can provide, some education as well as entertainment. It actually gets people to say that they, are actually reading it for the articles, not just the girls holding up the nugs.
That's right.
And also, I know that you're also a pretty big promoter up there in Denver. I heard yesterday you were talking about Little Flip and some of the cool concerts and stuff that are coming into the Denver area. So I would like to make sure that you don't forget about your girl down here and let me know of some cool stuff too, so I can get a bit on some of that action.
Oh yeah, actually, you got to come up here to Denver and mess around with the Daddy Bash. Daddy Bash this weekend or something.
Yeah, so,
This weekend.
yeah, I know that
So,
he's going to be down here in the Springs at the Speakeasy doing a meet and greet. I know that the Denver 420 nurses have been asked to help do the meet and greet, so I'm going to be down there helping support as a nurse, and down there as well supporting my show here. So that's going to be pretty cool. But as far as the concert and stuff goes, I mean, hey, I'll come hang out with you all day long.
That's what the Rocky did. You know, that's one of the first places I've got El Diablo.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Lead band Sam here, and we got to be on that Mafia 60 at the Rocky Theater.
Yep.
One of my good buddies.
Yep. That changed it up. It changed the world for us. Got Koopstar on the team.
That's cool. All right. Well, thank you very much for calling in. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go because we got a couple other things to touch on base now. But thank you so much, Lucky. I'm glad that you called in, and I will be sure to talk to you here soon so we can get together for some partnership type stuff. Okay.
All right.
All right. Cool. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye. All right. That was Lucky, the Daily Dupe, and that's such a cool name for a newspaper.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like the
He's a
Gazette
good friend of
Telegraph.
mine
Sounds
too.
so cool.
He really works hard in Denver and does a lot of things.
Oh, hello, caller. You're live.
Hello.
Hi. Is this Chris?
Oh, that's all it is.
Yeah. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, listening out there in Radio Land, this is Chris Jetter. He is one of the original co-founders, co-creators, the big boss man himself of Bongathon, one of the greatest competitions that we're going to be having coming to the Colorado area this year, right?
Oh yeah, that's close. I'm a custodian of the event. It started in 1974, so I was about 3 years old when it started. But I certainly am running the event now and plan to keep on running the event in proper fashion for a few years.
That is way cool. So it's been around for a hell of a long time.
Yeah, it's over 40 years old.
Wow, that is so cool. That is way cool. We were talking about Bongathon because I was just mentioning to Chris here about how you guys are going to be having all of the bong races and stuff like that, and I'm definitely going to be coming down with a group of ladies. We're going to be representing the K-High Fly Girls up there, so we got our shoes kicked out off of us, I guess, with some of these training exhibits and stuff that Red was talking about yesterday. I mean,
yeah,
actually,
it definitely helps to practice a little bit. Red's been crushing the fastest gram competitions this year. He's already won a couple of them.
holy cow.
So he's looking pretty solid, that's for sure.
That's really cool. I'm really excited. This will be my first year at Bongathon. I never heard of it before. And I mean, just off of Googling the name and watching some of the videos, it looks pretty intense.
It is intense, and that's the thing. I mean, it's probably the 420 generation's best kept secret. You know, I mean, this event's been going on for 40 years. We're in our 32nd party over 40 years. We did have a hiatus in the 90s and early aughts thanks to Larimer County.
Mm-hmm.
So that we resurrected the party in 2010, and this will actually be our 6th consecutive event that we've pulled off so far.
That's really cool. That's really cool. And what is the big prize that you get for winning? Is there multiple big prizes for all the different races, or is there one big grand span prize of it all?
The actual event has been based around the individual competition.
Okay.
And so that's the one that we really put the most weight on. That's the one that if you win the individual Bongathon, you get the trophies that are worth $5,000 by some of the top class artists, etc. So that competition is a quarter ounce of cannabis as fast as you can through a ball.
Wow, quarter ounce. That's pretty cool. Now,
last year, Sarah Coronado won it. He smoked a quarter ounce in 5 minutes and 18 seconds.
jeez. Now, does every participant have to bring their own bong, or is there a bong that you guys use as like a standard? Everybody has the same size bowl, everybody has the same type of bong, you know what I mean? To make it all fair?
Yeah, well, it's both. I mean, we have multiple events throughout the day. Individual bong-a-thong is very tightly ran.
Okay.
We will provide you with the bong that is identical to everybody else's bong. We'll also provide you with cannabis that is identical to everybody else's cannabis,
Okay.
tray, pokers, etc. And so we make the playing field very level with respect to individual bong-a-thon.
Gotcha.
Now, there is an open bong-a-thon competition, which is bring your eights, bring your bong, whichever one it is, and compete. And so that doesn't cost anybody anything. Just bring your goods and your bong, and you can enter into that competition.
That's cool. That's neat. So then, okay, let me ask you. So being somebody that is a part of something like Bong-a-thon, and somebody who has, had worked in establishments and owned establishments like POTUS and things like that, what is it that you think is going on with the policing system up there in Denver? I mean, here down in the Springs, we have nothing like the type of situations you guys deal with up there, and I'm just curious as to why that is.
I can tell you why that is. That's because of Mayor Hancock. He doesn't like weed.
Oh, so it's a Denver, Colorado.
Basically put a directive out via, his guardians, the Denver police, to shut down these operations in the city and county of Denver.
Wow. What was his name again?
Mayor Hancock.
Mayor Hancock. See, I want to talk to this guy. I want to get him, and I want to get the mayor of Colorado Springs together. Well, actually, our new mayor of Colorado Springs, he doesn't like pot either, does he?
Are you talking about Mr. Southers?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
A.G. Southers, we've been battling with him for probably 15 years on weed, and he is very anti-weed in general. I know he's had to defend marijuana in court, after the other states around us sued the state of Colorado for legalizing cannabis. So in that respect, he's played on both sides of the fence, but he tends to be anti-cannabis.
What is his big reason on why?
John Southers, I really don't know what John Southers' reasoning is. The rumor, from what I understand from Mr. Hancock, is that he had a brother that passed away of a drug overdose, and so he's convinced that marijuana is a gateway drug. I worked on Luthard's campaign when he ran against Hancock in the primaries and lost.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me to step up on Hancock's campaign throughout the duration of his election process. And of course, I denied to do that because he was anti-cannabis.
Right. See, that's just something like that. That kind of, I feel like I want to get on this. I want to talk to this guy because, I mean, when it comes to stuff like that, that sounds like something that is purely an emotional hatred. You know what I mean? Like he has a personal vendetta against it. And that comes, and when.
Yeah. I mean, I literally put in 3 or 4 requests into the mayor's office to have an intelligent conversation through official channels and unofficial channels by posting on his Facebook page, etc. I can't get any replies from the mayor or the mayor's office.
I'm gonna have to see what I can do. I'm pretty good at getting people to spark up some conversation, it's all a matter of how you do it. I don't know.
I tell you what, if you can get the mayor on the phone at some point, girl, dial me up. I'd like to have a conversation too.
Oh well, no, not that I'm saying I'm better at it than you are by any means. And I would love to have you here to help me, back me up on it. But I just think that I'm gonna take a personal initiative to try to get a hold of that guy too, because what he's saying right there, it contradicts everything of the reason on why I'm here in the first place. I mean, my mother just passed away this past February, and she was a drug addict her entire life. She was a methamphetamine addict, okay? And so for her to be a cancer patient, they wanted to hook her up on, 15 of the hardest narcotics in the world. Now, she wanted uppers. She didn't want no downers in the first place, and they didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? So eventually, the cannabis, what would have saved her life, eventually put her back into a position to go back to illicit drugs, which made her sickness get even worse. You know what I mean? So I think that somebody from a drug experience, if that's what he's afraid about, then man, we need to talk.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I think people that aren't involved with cannabis, and I think generally you gotta look at the population. I mean, I think my personal opinion is that 90% of the people in Colorado don't really care about cannabis one way or the other, or how it's regulated, or etc. There's 10% of us that are really interested and really concerned about how it should be regulated, which is like alcohol. That's what we voted on, and they're not regulating like alcohol; they're regulating like medical marijuana.
Right.
So these dialogues need to be open. People need to talk about it. We need some awareness on the situation.
Exactly. That's exactly, I'm going to cut you short right there just because we're getting ready to end here. But that's exactly what the whole point of my show, Let's Hash It Out, is. I want to touch on these topics. I think, there's a lot of stuff that people aren't saying. And exactly just like this with drug abuse, I mean, come on now. We're not so ignorant that we can't acknowledge something as, safe as marijuana versus a crack addict. They're nowhere in the state. You know what I mean? So thank you so much, Chris Jenner. I appreciate you taking the time to call us today. And I'm excited about this bongathon competition. Yeah.
Bongathon!
All right. Good to talk to you. I'll talk to you here soon, okay?
You bet, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. We're wrapping up my hour here on letstalkpot.com. You're listening to Ms. Miranda Wrights on Hash It Out. You can give us a call, 591-5874. Tonight, the Weed Pimps High Drive at 5. I'm sure they're going to be talking about some pretty cool stuff with DJ Chris Diablo, Colorado's official cannabis DJ. So make sure you guys tune in. We will see you again here tomorrow.
Yeah, like, yeah,